Good afternoon and welcome to the NCC Newsroom at the SI Newhouse School of Public Communications. I'm Ian Unsworth.
And I'm Trey Redfield. Thanks so much for joining us. You're watching Democracy in Action, a project in its 13th year of covering elections.
This is our third of 6 live streams covering Election Day in Onondaga County. We're live on OTN and the Democracy in Action website. As the clock continues to roll, voters continue to head to the polls before the 9 p.m. closing time. Here are new updates on voter turnout in Onondaga within the past 2 hours. According to the Onondaga County Board of Elections Twitter, 7,546 votes were processed from noon to 1 p.m. From 1 to 2 p.m., 7,477 voters were processed.
And that makes a total of 65,808 Election Day voters, excluding people who took the early voting route. If you are still looking to vote, polling place and registration information can be found at onvote.net.
Voter turnout could be rising thanks to parents in our region.
Many parents say they're encouraging their children to vote this year. NCC's Tyler O'Neill has more details on why parents are pushing their kids to rush the polls.
Shannon Cunningham votes every year without fail.
It's so important to vote because this is your time that you have, to make your little bit of a choice, and you're making your little bit of place for yourself.
That's why she says she brought her son to the polls to start him young on the right track.
We're teaching my son how important it is to vote.
Wallen is 7 years old and is going to the ballot box for the very first time.
So you're excited?
Yes.
Not only does Cunningham share her sense of style with her son, but also her voting wisdom.
If you don't vote, you don't really have a choice to say much.
She's not the only one in Pompey teaching her kids at a young age.
My parents will be here later today, and they will be bringing my son because he doesn't have school today, and he's a kindergartner.
But even when kids grow up, parents are still reminding their kids to get out and vote.
I reminded them this morning with a text, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, they're in their mid-20s, so sometimes they slip a little bit.
And of course, you can't forget the I voted sticker, especially if you're bringing your kids. For NCC News, I'm Tyler O'Neill.
Thanks, Tyler. Here's a look at our Democracy in Action website where you can find Tyler's story and much more. All of our coverage this election day will live right here. You can catch our live cut-ins every 2 hours up to 10 p.m. right there. You click Watch Now and the YouTube link pops up. And then right below it, our breaking news on Twitter function where you see Democracy Action, our official Twitter page, Newhouse DIA, will keep you all updated there. Scrolling down, you'll find our articles, everyone categorized, and then a bit lower, our interactive map function, where we have all of the polling places and articles sorted. You scroll in just a little bit, and you can hit any single place you want. You see the polling place if you want to read Jake Morrell's story about Pompeii. Click that blue check mark. You can see the polling place and a link for a story from that location. Scrolling down further, we have our articles sorted by region, Syracuse City, the eastern and western suburbs, and even lower, our audio stories, all published, written, recorded, and you can play them right there from the website. Trey?
Well, Ian, that's some good information to look into. Be sure you check out that website. And we now take a look at one of the most closely watched races in central New York, the race for New York's 22nd congressional district. Current Representative Republican John Katko announced he would not run for re-election in January, opening the door for Brandon Williams and Francis Knoll to make their first bids for office. On the Democratic line, Knoll, the Syracuse native, is running on a platform of pro-choice advocacy, access to health care, and vows to strengthen gun safety laws. Running on the Republican line is Dallas native, Brandon Williams. Williams' campaign promises to include lowering taxes, limiting government spending, and reinforcing Second Amendment rights. We have dozens of reporters at polling places in central New York covering the 2022 midterm races. Isabel Flores joins us live at the Baldwinsville Public Library with more on this year's voter turnout. Isabel?
Thanks, guys. That is right. We're here live at the Baldwinsville Public Library poll. Now, I was talking to Garrett Wyckoff, who's the poll manager here, and he was telling me that this poll actually takes different kinds of voters from 3 different districts, and they say that they've been going through about 100 ballots an hour. So by the end of the day, they expect to be going through about 1,500 ballots, which is about half of the total voter count of the 3 districts. So he was also telling me that he can't really pinpoint if he's seen more or less voters in this election than in previous years because of the fact that there's been a lot of mail-in ballots that have been coming through. So they're still also trying to get count of those. Now, this is also a really big election because of the fact that Lee Zeldin has been catching up to Kathy Hochul, who is our current governor of New York State and is a Democrat. New York is notoriously known for being a blue state, and Zeldin winning this election can possibly turn this state into a red state. In Baldwinsville, I'm Isabel Flores with Democracy in Action.
Isabel, thanks so much. A big race for the gubernatorial election in the state of New York, but we'll have more coverage around the county throughout the day and later in the broadcast.
And around the state of New York this year, there is only one proposal at the state level on ballots. It's the Clean Water, Clean Air, and Green Jobs Environmental Bond Act. The proposal is meant to address the effects of climate change and environmental damage around the state. If approved, the act would initiate the sale of over $4 billion in state bonds. The proceeds would go towards environmental protection, natural restoration, and clean energy projects, including over $1 million to flood prevention and restoration.
Taking pictures with ballots and posting them online, or ballot selfies, is a growing trend, but the photo becomes illegal when the ballot is filled out. So what's the difference between saying who you voted for and posting a selfie with a filled out ballot? Well, Dustin Zarni says it has to do with the ballot itself.
One thing is free speech. The other thing is actually taking a photo of an election instrument, an election property. That ballot is not your property. It is the property of the boards of elections. They can't leave.
Zarni also says to play it safe and take a selfie before you fill out your ballot, or try not to show who you voted for.
I'll keep my camera in my pocket. Let's take a look now at what these midterm elections could mean for the balance of power in Congress. Luis Rath joins us now with more. Luis?
Hey there, Trey and Ian. Let's take a look at what could happen to the balance of power in the House of Representatives starting first. Right now, the breakdown is Democrats have 220 seats to the Republicans 212, and there are 3 vacancies. So a pickup of, watch this, just 5 seats. You see the shift in the balance of power there. That could mean a House majority for the Republicans. And different forecasters say Republicans could pick up anywhere from 7 to, get this, 15 seats. And again, you see that meter just moving. Now we'll take a look at the U.S. Senate and what the balance of power could mean there. We start off at 50-50. That's where we are right now, evenly split down the middle in the U.S. Senate. And this is where those 3 battleground states, Georgia, Pennsylvania, Nevada, that's where they come into play. Each of these states have the opportunity to swing this meter just red or just blue. Now it's 2 out of 3 of those races needed to win control of the Senate. So 2 wins here for the Democrats, that means a Democrat majority. 2 wins for the Republicans, that's a Republican majority. We'll have full coverage of these races on NCC News as they come in. And Trey and Ian, I'll send it back over to you.
Louise, thanks so much. We have more coverage at the polls. Jeremy Striano joins us live in Solvay at the Getteris Youth Center.
Guys, it only took the midterm elections for me to break out the winter coat for the first time being here in Syracuse. But here at the Solvay Geddes Youth Center, the turnout's been pretty impressive. Got to speak to the polling manager herself, and she said that the turnout was unbelievable. When we first got here, the total number of voters was 971, but with the time of setting up everything and making sure everyone was getting inside okay, the number has probably reached the 1,000 mark for this very location. Speaking with people throughout the day, people have been brought out to the polls for many specific reasons. It could be reason A, reason B, X, Y, or Z. But what is important is that people are not only doing this for their civic duty, but it is a civic honor for everybody. Reporting live here in Solvay, Jeremy Striano, Democracy in Action.
Thank you, Jeremy. Polling places are open until 9 p.m. around Central New York. Trey, it's just so important to get out there and make a statement and do your civic duty. Vote.
100%. I mean, it's one vote for you, but it means so much to the rest of the community. We've talked a lot about the numbers. They keep on going up if you go out and vote.
So that'll do it for Democracy in Action this cut-in. For more information, go to our website and follow our Twitter at Democracy Action. I'm Ian Unsworth.
And I'm Trey Redfield. Stay tuned for our next cut-in at 6 p.m. with myself and Matt Hassan. Thanks for watching.